The United Nations says that rebels in South Sudan have killed hundreds of people based on their ethnicity. The killings were carried out last week in the oil town of Bentiu. The UN says that in one mosque alone, rebel gunmen killed more than 200 people after determining what ethnic group they belonged to. A warning that the images we're about to show you are disturbing. These are the first pictures from the scene of the attack to be broadcast. They show dozens of dead bodies. Most of the pictures we can't show simply because they're too graphic. The UN accuses the rebels of carrying out the killings after they captured Bentiu from government control. Well, this all began in December when fighting broke out between the army and rebels loyal to the sacked Vice President Riek Machar. The battles were initially thought to have been along political lines, but it's since become apparent that the unrest is ethnically motivated. President Salva Kiir is from the Dinka tribe. The rebels are members of former Vice President Machar's Nuer tribe. Rights groups have accused both sides of committing war crimes. Thousands of people have been killed. Well, South Sudan's Foreign Minister, Barnaba Marial Benjamin, is on the line now from Juba, the capital of South Sudan. Thanks for being with us, sir. What happens now? What is your government doing right now to track down the perpetrators of this massacre and bring them to justice?
Absolutely. This is one of the terrible stories we have always been saying, that the rebels led by Dr. Riek Machar have been targeting innocent citizens. And in fact, eliminating citizens who are innocent, and it is the duty of the government, of course, to protect those citizens within their ability. And you could see, with a few meters away from the United Nations, the rebels could go out all the way to massacre over 200 innocent lives, together with hundreds of more injured. This is an indication that Dr. Riek rebels, they have been violating the cessation of hostilities, that we have been telling the IGAD countries that they don't respect the cessation of hostilities we signed on the 23rd of January 2014. Now this is a proof of the message we have been passing to IGAD as well as to the international community.
But,
they are engaged.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. Are you confident that the perpetrators of this massacre will be brought to justice? How long will that process take?
Absolutely. They must be brought to book because this is a crime against humanity. They must be made accountable for what they do because nobody can tolerate, any democratic government elected by the people can turn around the manner in which Dr. Riek, who has been a part of this government for the last 9 years, and in this manner as a rebel at the present moment, turns around to kill the very citizens he was able before to administer. So accountability must be there. And we as a government, we are committed to protecting our citizens. And that's why the UN is here in South Sudan for 12,000 troops to assist the government in the protection of the citizens.
You say so that you're committed to protecting your citizens, but what responsibility does the South Sudanese army bear for this massacre? Why was it unable to protect those vulnerable people in Bentiu?
It was unable to protect because those were civilian zones. In fact, that is the churches and where the mosque and the hospital is. The rebels were able to have pushed out the government troops from that area. And that's why they turned on the civilians. And that's why it was also unable, even for the UNMISS forces, the UN forces, even to be able to try and assist and protect those civilians, because that was the small part of the town they had infiltrated in and started doing those inhuman acts as we see them today.
Does the former Vice President Riek Machar bear any responsibility for this?
Well, yes, it is his responsibility because these are his rebels. He has admitted that these are not citizens that these people have not killed. He has to answer for it definitely because these are his rebels, and he has said it over the media that he has taken over the city of Bentiu and that his forces are in control. So there's nothing more proof than that.
Will you, sir, the President or the Interior Minister be travelling to Bentiu in the next few days?
Definitely, there is still fighting around Bentiu, still going on as we speak now, because the rebels are still perpetrating their attack. that is something going on. But as I said, the government is committed to see those who will violate killing innocent civilians, they will be held accountable in abuse of human rights. And as I speak to you now, the government has formed a very high legal investigation committee, and this committee is empowered to investigate all cases of human rights abuses, including the government control areas. We will not leave anything not checked. Anybody involved, even on the government troops, will be held accountable in case of any human rights abuses. We are committed to that. We are elected democratic government by the people of this country, and I believe this is a constitutional responsibility that the people have imposed on the government of this country, and so it's our duty to protect these citizens. And if those break those human rights abuses, then they must be held accountable, and perpetrators must be brought to book. There's no way other than that.
What impact, sir, will this have on the resumption of peace talks in Addis Ababa?
Yes, indeed, our delegation is ready. They were supposed to go to Addis on the 22nd, that is tomorrow, but I think the facilitators in Addis have moved the day to the 27th. So yes, the government delegation will continue to be at the peace forum in order to have dialogue with these rebels so that we bring this senseless war to an end. So the government is committed to a peaceful dialogue of the issue.
The government is committed, but what of the rebels? As I said, will this massacre, this indiscriminate killing in Bentiu, have an impact on those talks in Addis Ababa?
The rebels are not committed, as you can see what they have done in Bentiu. They have been violating the cessation of hostilities, as I said, which we had signed on the 23rd of January 2014, in which all hostilities must come to an end. But they said that they were not going to respect it, and that's why they are going on killing innocent citizens all over the place.
All right, so many thanks indeed. Barnaba Marial Benjamin, South Sudan's foreign minister, on the line there from Juba. We'll have more on the killings in Bentiu a little later in this news hour.